Right, I had to do a super cheeky video talking about the Premier League title race. After what we saw with Arsenal, Fulham, Liverpool, Newcastle United, and even Man City's late comeback, I think there's three outstanding candidates to win the Premier League this season. I actually said it right from the get-go. What can I say? I'm a clairvoyant. But let's be completely real. Liverpool have mentality in their DNA. They have elite mentality. Arsenal have got a crop of world-class young footballers. And you could argue that City have got both. We're going to break down all three sides. Just a rough overview. And I'm really keen to see what you think in the comments down below about all three. We have to start off with what's most foremost in my mind. And that's Liverpool's comeback against Newcastle United. It reminds me a little bit of, not in the same way of a comeback, but a result that if they'd lost, it might have been over already in terms of winning the Premier League because of the kind of frustrations from Trent, from Van Dijk, from some poor refereeing. Maybe even Salah goes to Saudi Arabia. But football can change on the turn of a sixpence, really. And against Newcastle United, the energy that was on display, especially from Darwin Núñez. If Salah needed a reminder that if he is to stay, he isn't even assured of his place because of someone like Darwin Núñez. There's energy and desire on the bench at Liverpool to go and succeed for Jurgen Klopp. So I think the biggest statement for me about that win against Newcastle, Liverpool can get back into a game. They did it against Newcastle United, top four opposition, Champions League opposition, at one of the most feared grounds in the whole country. They did it with 10 men. People aren't talking about it enough. It's a serious victory. It's a serious moment for Jurgen Klopp. Again, I was going to link this to a bit like Conte. Conte struggled at Chelsea, and he changed the formation, so it changed everything for him. But there was a couple of results where suddenly, out of nowhere, they looked like they were going to dominate the Premier League. I don't think Jurgen Klopp is a million miles from that. I think they can go on a bit of a run now. Now, obviously, there's going to be issues with Van Dijk. I'm not sure if there's going to be any kind of fallout from that because of their centre-back options look limited. I think they needed someone in there this summer. It's obviously not going to happen. But apart from that, you kind of, even Endo I thought was decent in midfield. Szoboszlai was fantastic. And then you got someone like Darwin Núñez. Now, people were wrongly talking about him in the same breath as Erling Haaland. But the reality of the situation is that, people were talking about him as a 40-goal a season kind of guy. The finishing he displayed at Newcastle was Thierry Henry. It was Van Nistelrooy. The best strikers in the world, when they got it near post on their favoured foot, it's hard because they can't bend it around the keeper. Like Henry used to open up his body on the other side of goal. You had to drill it, and the angle was so tight, and Pope's a massive keeper. And the reason I'm saying all this is because if Darwin Núñez can find that kind of form, that kind of unbelievable touch against Newcastle in the next 30, 40 games, this is a guy, he's always fit, he's always raring to go, he works so hard. And he was getting into so many positions against Newcastle. He was getting into so many positions last season, but he was hitting them into row Z. So I think Darwin Núñez is a massive factor. Salah stays. That Endo comes in and Szoboszlai, McAllister, they all gel. They can get through the games without Van Dijk, potentially. With Alisson still making world-class saves. This Liverpool side are massive, massive contenders. I will, at the end of the video, predict 1, 2, and 3 between all three clubs. Let's move on to Arsenal. Now, their mentality is not as good as Liverpool's. I refuse to believe it. 247 days at the top of the Premier League table last season. And then rocking against Forest, rocking against Palace, rocking against Fulham. The Nketiah miss against Palace, poor. Brennan Johnson should have probably put the game away against Arsenal at the Emirates. So the mentality of Arsenal is very, very small, low on confidence at the moment. There's no question about it. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be a little bit worried. But then they got the quality there that I don't think Liverpool necessarily have in depth. Look at the kind of the four options in the defensive department: Ben White, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, Tierney's still there. I'm not sure if he'll be used, but then you got Gabriel, Saliba, Timber. I know he's injured, and then Kiwior as well. They got so many options that Liverpool would die out for. Declan Rice, Partey, they can rotate those two in midfield, even though it looks like Partey's a right back now, which is surreal. And then you got the front line. You got Jesus, Nketiah, you got Martinelli, you got Trossard. And even someone like Emil Smith-Rowe, I rave on about him and people are a bit sick of it, I think. But he's a supreme talent. I think maybe he gets loaned out this summer at the end of the transfer window. Who knows? But he deserves an unbelievable opportunity. Vieira is coming good. Signs out of nowhere. So Arsenal's squad is there to win the Premier League. I mean, 105 million quid on Declan Rice isn't about coming fifth of it, is it? It's about being serious. It's about trying to retain momentum from last season, trying to kick on. I think these signings have to be, we're going to beat City at the Etihad. We're going to try and beat Liverpool in these big games. We're going to try and beat City at the Emirates. That's where Arsenal lost the league last season, in my opinion. They showed no winning mentality against the side they were competing with, even in the FA Cup. The confidence that would have... Look, I know it's 6 points out of 100 plus points available. It's only 6 points. It's not a cup final. I get it. But, you know, the mentality of Arsenal is we've never beaten City in this kind of... In our current form of trying to win the Premier League, which only started last year, we've not beaten City yet. It's a hurdle that they have to get over. So mentality is a massive negative factor for me if I was an Arsenal fan, but the quality is more than certainly there. Again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Oh, I have to talk about Man City. I thought we were decent against Sheffield United. I think we ground it out a little bit. Some really poor... Well, a single poor mistake from Kyle Walker nearly cost us the whole game. That's the reality. So, on one level, it's great to get back in it and show mentality and show fight and show desire. Quality as well. The Rodri strike, unbelievable. But there are examples there that Arsenal and Liverpool, if they're waiting in the wings, that City can slip. Now, it's Kyle Walker's little mistake. He's probably made one mistake in the last 3 years. But he's got it in him. There's an injury to a centre-back there. There's an injury to a midfielder. De Bruyne's already injured. And suddenly, Haaland missed a penalty. And you can sense that there are tiny cracks potentially there. And that's why it's so hard for even the great Ferguson sides, Mourinho sides, Wenger sides to win back-to-back Premier Leagues, let alone 4. Do you know what I mean? Let alone 4. It's absolutely crazy. It's crazy we won 3 in a row. It's absolutely crazy. So in that regard, I think City have got the mentality. We've showed it against Sheffield United. But then the quality as well. The strike from Rodri, the cross from Grealish, the header from Haaland. Unbelievable performances from Ruben Diaz, Ederson putting out world-class saves against Sheffield United, and even Phil Foden coming on, who was ill against Sheffield United, not feeling great, but he still managed to kind of persevere and do something with the game, and I think he changed it a little bit, added way more energy. So I think, you know what I'm going to say, lads, but I'm not trying to be biased. It's just the eye test. If City lose to Sheffield United or draw the game, it's a whole different story. But the fact I've seen us get back into a game yet again, showing mentality, it's unbelievable. I'm predicting it. City 1, Liverpool 2, Arsenal 3. I think mentality means a lot in this day and age, and Arsenal will be focusing on Champions League games where they're probably going to come to the round of 16 and get smashed anyway. I think City can manage all 3, even the FA Cup and League Cup. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Would really appreciate some feedback on these takes, and I'll see you soon.